Well, I was down the boat today doing a little cleanup after our last excursion, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to shoot a little film of the boat, which I'm sure I'm going to enjoy having over the winter, sitting around looking at the snow and waiting to get the boat back out next spring. It's a 1978 Southern Cross made by Clark Ryder Company in Bristol, Rhode Island. And strangely enough, fun actually, the boat directly across from us is owned by the very same Mr. Clark Ryder. I have often taken the opportunity to compliment him, that's his boat, on the one he built us, which we just love. This is classic old school, not like they make anymore. And there are reasons for that, but there are good reasons why they built these the way they did. This boat treats you very, very well when it gets a little bit bouncy out there. She handles being at sea really well. Step on board here. This, I'm going to start right before I get down. Right there is an absolutely spectacularly good spot. It's our favorite spot on the boat. Because underway, this is where you want to sit. You've got this fantastic view looking down the whole length of the boat. And you're elevated just enough that it makes spotting them lobster pots that are always out there and constantly a threat to getting wrapped around your prop makes them a little easier to spot when you're sitting up here a little bit. And we have a remote control for the auto tiller, so you can kind of sit up here, enjoy the view, and change course as necessary to avoid those little monsters. Over here we've got our propane grill, force 10 grill under there, and of course, in case I'm feeling lucky, we run across a few fish, I keep a rod and a reel handy. Kind of like this Dodger, it's not full width of the boat, which actually makes it much, much easier to move around on deck when you get out of the cockpit and you head forward to deal with whatever, raising the main or dropping something or the anchoring or whatever. Not having a Dodger that you have to get around makes it very, very comfortable to make that move, especially when you're getting a little older as I am. Let's see, we'll head down below. Okay. We are the third owners of the boat. The guy who bought it originally did all the finish of the interior, and he happened to be someone who was employed in the industry as a basically marine carpenter. So he built it the way he wanted, and in our opinion, he did a masterful job of it. These 28s are, a lot of them were built as kit boats. Very often when you check on like Yacht World or something, you never see two that are the same inside because each one was done pretty much individually by the owner. Got my little chart table over there, my Raymarine plotter, my VHF, that's all tucked up in there along with my electrical panels and all that sort of thing. Over here, of course, back in the corner there's the hatch for going down into the ice box, and then underneath here we have our Origo alcohol stove, which we like the simplicity of it. I know it's not the most efficient stove in the world, but it's extremely safe. Propane always gave me fits in brief, so we're quite satisfied just staying with the Origo alcohol, which doesn't ever really present any surprises. Something else we like about the way he did the inside was instead of having like open bookshelves along these edges, they're all little doors, and it really encloses the interior space. And then he built shelves in it So you get a lot more room in there to put things away than just open bookshelf type things, which is pretty common. Another bookshelf, the original owner, again, did a lovely job on it. Helps us keep our library right where we want it. And something else the original owner did that was sort of non-standard was over here on this side. We have sort of a rope locker. My tools are all in here. I have a little bit of space I can actually work on. I store all the bits and pieces of ropes and various things that I'm always playing with right there. Originally this was a head. It had a sink essentially, and that was about it. And they decided that you had a sink up here in the kitchen you could use, and turned this into this rope locker, hanging locker sort of combination, which again I just love. It's extremely handy. The head is over here, under here. Another brilliant piece of thinking. This down here is not a conventional, like a Jabsco or one of those things with the pumps and the O-rings and the pistons and all that. This is a porta potty, 5-gallon, and it gravity always works, as they say. There are virtually no moving parts. It is attached to a pump, though, a macerator pump, that when it gets full, we hit a button and pumps whatever's inside that into a holding tank up in the V-berth area. The V-berth, we have the cushions out because usually we're just the two of us. We don't sleep up here. We use it as basically the garage. It's where we keep all kinds of things. That's a asymmetrical spinnaker up there in the big orange bag, and soft coolers and tubs full of food. And when we're underway, of course, it's got tubs of clothing and anything else you might need depending on where we're going and for how long. On the rare occasions we have visitors, we put the green V-berth cushions back in. You're back in business as far as a place to sleep. But that's a pretty rare thing, which usually the two of us. So that kind of gives you the idea. That's what the inside of our lovely Ocean Rose 28-foot Southern Cross looks like. For the two of us, it is a perfect boat. Really has everything that we need, and we are suckers for this old style. Lots of wood. Narrow by today's standards, 8.5 feet, but it means you don't bounce around too much in here. You can always put a hand out and touch the wall. Our tiller, which we also prefer, we like tillers once again for their simplicity. Everything is right there. Our swim ladder, door aids, and basically the windlass, the Samson post, and our 23-pound Rockna anchor. 120 feet of chain always makes us sleep pretty good. So that's it. Again, I plan to be looking at this video all winter long and pretending that it's May already. Still get a couple more weeks here before we wrap it up this fall, but you can smell it in the air. The winter is coming, as they say.